But thanks so much for joining me. So today's class is an arms and abs emphasis. So grab your cans or some light weights and we're gonna start on your backs. So go ahead and grab your weights or your cans and hold them in your hands and then just lay with your arms down by your sides, your feet about hip socket distance apart. And just kind of take a mental check-in with where your body is today. Right? Start focusing on your breath, inhaling through your nose and exhaling out through your mouth. And as you inhale, think of expanding your rib cage east to west, side to side. And as you exhale, draw your belly button in towards your spine, blow all the air out of your belly, and lift your pelvic floor up to meet your belly button. Inhale in one more time. Exhale, blow all the air out, and float your arms up to the sky and rotate your palms to face down. So from here, we're gonna do a chest press with the arms. So the elbows go wide and tap the floor, and then extend your arms and press back up. So I know that most of you are using cans. So weight line is not real heavy, so we're gonna make it more about the coordination. So pause with your arms down in the field goal position and press through your heels and bridge your hips up. And you wanna think about pausing when your knees, your hips, and your shoulders are in one straight line, and then lower your hips as you reach your arms back up. So the arms bend as the hips lift, and the hips lower as the arms extend. So we'll exhale, lift the hips up, and inhale, lower the hips back down. And you can articulate through your spine as you lower and lift your hips. You can hinge, whatever feels better for your body. For me, it's kind of like a lot of coordination to articulate and move my arms at the same time, so I'm gonna stick to a hinge. But I want you to focus on pressing through your heels as you lift and lower your hips. And I like to think about dragging my feet in towards my bottom or my butt towards my feet as I move up and down to help engage the hamstrings just a little bit more deeply. Now I want you to pause with your hips lifted and your arms bent, and you're gonna pulse your arms up an inch and down an inch, up an inch and down an inch. So just an isometric hold with the glutes. So focus on squeezing your glutes, draw your heels in towards your bottom, engage your hamstrings. And draw your shoulders as far away from your ears as possible so that you can focus on feeling the pec muscles on the front of the chest and shoulders. Now pause with your arms bent halfway, lower your hips halfway, and squeeze and lift back up. Lower halfway down, and squeeze and lift up. Lower and lift. Lower and exhale, lift up. Focusing on pressing through your heels to squeeze the glutes. Trying to keep the work out of your low back and in your legs. One more, pause with your hips lifted, extend your arms, and lower your hips back down. Now from here, we're gonna turn your palms to face in and bend the elbows for skull crushes. So the arms are gonna bend down by your ears, and then you'll extend the arms. So just make sure you feel good about the arm movement first. And now we're gonna add the hip lift in. So pause with your arms straight and lift your hips to the side. Now we're gonna lower your hips as you bend your arms. And then everything reaches to the sky together. So hips and arms go together, hips and arms lower together. Exhale, lift up, and inhale, lower back down. And as you lift your hips up, same thing here. We're pressing through the heels, squeezing the glutes on the backs of the thighs. Focus on using your breath as you lift up to help keep that abdominal contraction. And I want you to really think about keeping your elbows stacked directly over your shoulders so that the work is coming from the triceps versus being translated into the neck and upper trap region. Nice job, guys. One more time, pause with your hips lifted. Now bend your arms halfway. Hips are gonna stay lifted. Bring your arms to that lowest point and come halfway up. Lowest point to halfway up, so half range. Try and draw your shoulders away from your ears. The further you can actively draw your shoulders down using your lat muscles under the armpits, the more you're gonna feel the triceps in the back of the arms. Now we're gonna pause your arms halfway and lower the hips halfway again and squeeze and lift back up. Lower halfway and squeeze and lift. And I want you guys to really focus on just doing the hip movement from the glutes. So focus on actively squeezing the tush together as you lift your hips up. Trying to keep the shoulder blades down on the mat. So abs have to stay tight as well. 2 more here. And lift those hips all the way up, straighten your arms, and lower the whole party all the way back down. Go ahead and sit your cans off to the side, your weights off to the side. we're going to go into some abdominal work. So we'll bring your hands behind your head, and we're going to take your legs up into tabletop. So knees stacked over hips, and then feet come straight out from there. From here, we're going into a chest lift. So we'll exhale, lift the head and chest up, and then inhale, lower the head and chest back down. Now, as you lift up, I want you to focus on the legs staying still in space. So as we exhale, lift, sink your belly button in towards your spine, feel your shoulders all the way up off the mat, and then inhale, lower. Now, if you're finding it's challenging to keep your legs still in space, you can always set your feet back then on the ground. But the goal here is to try and maintain stability of the pelvis as we lift the chest and shoulders up. Good job, ladies. Pause with your head and chest lifted. We're going to tap one foot to the floor and then exhale, lift it up. Inhale, tap it down. Exhale, lift it up. And as you bring your leg back up into tabletop, use your exhale to sink your belly button in towards your spine each time so that you recruit a little bit more of your transverse abdominis and a little bit less rectus. Good. Now pause with both legs lifted in tabletop. We're going to sink both toes towards the floor together, and then exhale, lift both legs back up. Inhale, lower your legs down, and exhale, lift them up. Now your goal here is to keep your pelvis and your low back perfectly still as your legs lower. So if you feel the space between your low back and your mat changing, then just try not to lower the legs quite as far, or you can also lower the head and chest back down. Good. One more. And rest the chest and head down for a second and put your left foot on the ground. So right leg's going to stay in tabletop. Hands are going to stay back behind the head. Lift back up, twist towards your right leg and stay there. So from here, upper body stays still. Tap your foot to the floor. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, tap it down. Exhale, lift it up. So upper body is stable. Lower body is mobile. You want to feel those right oblique muscles just to the right side of the rib cage. The oblique muscles are really important for supporting the trunk, specifically in the thoracic spine, so upper back. Good. Think about reaching the toes just a little bit further away as you go to tap down to maintain that 90-degree angle at the knee. Last one. And then we're going to pause with your knee lifted and then pulse your shoulder to your knee. Think of now keeping the leg still, bringing the shoulder to the knee. Hang in there. See if you can get that right shoulder blade lifted up off the mat too. That's a tough one. For 3 and 2, hang in there and lower the head and chest down. Be grateful we only have 2 sides and going straight into the other side. So left leg to tabletop, lift the head and chest, twist to the left side, tap your left toes to the floor, exhale, left toes up. Inhale, tap down, exhale, lift up. Remember, upper body is staying stable for this first set, and just the leg is moving. Inhale down, exhale, deepen that abdominal contraction as the leg comes back up. Last one, pausing with the leg in tabletop, twist shoulder to knee, pulse it up and up. Do your best to keep your legs still and bring your shoulder to your knee, not your knee to your shoulder. In my dream world, that left shoulder staying lifted up off the mat as well. Keep in mind that's my dream, maybe not reality. One more, and lower everything down. Go ahead and rest your abs for a second. From here, we're gonna roll onto your side and just set yourself up in like a comfortable sideline position with your shoulders stacked, your hips stacked, and I like to have the knees bent for this one. And then you're gonna grab a weight, a can, and then I want you to hold your arm up to the sky so that you're making a 90-degree angle with your armpit. We're gonna do a little bit of work for the rotator cuff. So we're gonna let your hands fall towards the floor. Think about squeezing both shoulder blades back and together here, and then lift your hands back to the sky. So inhale, lower your hand down, and exhale, open the door, lift your arm back up. Be really mindful that as you lift your arm up, you're keeping your wrist neutral, opposed to leading with the knuckles or leading with the fingertips. You want the whole lower arm to move in one piece. Should start to feel a little bit of a burn here on the back of the shoulder and that rotator cuff. Rotator cuff is really important for posture, which I feel like is even more important now that everyone's working from home these days. Nice job, guys. One more time. Pause with your hand reaching up to the sky. Follow in suit with your fingers. Really protract the scapula. Reach your knuckles to the sky. Inhale, lower your arm towards the floor, straight arm down. Exhale, lift your hand back over your shoulder. So this one's going to be more of a rear delt fly. Definitely not something you want to rush through. Think about time under tension here, as I guess the concept that I'm thinking about. So the slower you can move in the down or the eccentric movement, the more work the back of the shoulder is going to get. So this is for the, like I said, that rear delt. One cool thing that I think is underappreciated about shoulder muscles is they really help to sculpt your arms too. So start to feel that burn slowly creeping in here. Inhale down and exhale, lift it up with control. Good, last time. Now we're gonna pause with your arm in that up position. Really protract your scapula, reach your knuckles to the sky, bend the elbow like you're trying to knock yourself in the head with your weight, and then reach that arm back up for triceps here. Think about keeping your top shoulder pulling as far away from your ear as possible as you bend and extend the arm. So you should feel your lat muscles stay engaged as you go to move just from the elbow, so the shoulder blade stays still, tricep is what's moving. Slow and controlled. Notice that as you get fatigued, that shoulder is going to want to start creeping up into your ear. I'd say every 3 reps, I have to check back in with my shoulder. Nice job. One more time here. And then we'll go ahead and set that can down, and we're going to go into some sideline work. So now we're going to extend your bottom leg, and I want you to think about reaching your top hip away from you, so that you're creating like a little mouth hole size space between your waist and the floor. And then we're going to shift your feet forward like maybe 3 inches. So if you were to look at me from the top, I'd be like in a little banana shape. I'm going to press my top hand down into the mat for stability. We'll float the top leg up off the floor, flex the foot, toes to shin. So the foot's just slightly higher than the hip, nothing too crazy. Yeah, there you go. Flex the foot, kick it straight forward in front of you. Pause and hold for just a second. Really squeeze your abs here. Now we're gonna point your toes and swing your leg back behind you. Flex and kick forward, point and swing back. But I want you to move slowly enough that you can control what's happening in your pelvis. So as your leg swings forward, let your hamstring tell you when that's far enough. Because I want you to maintain a neutral pelvic positioning, which means that as your foot goes forward, you're trying not to tuck your tail. And as you kick your foot back behind you, think about doing the opposite, tucking your tail so that you get a stretch across the front of the hip as you squeeze the glute to bring the leg behind you. Good. Now pause with your leg in your forward position, and we're going to lower your leg towards the floor and then lift your foot up to the sky. Lower it down and lift it up. So you want to have the leg in front of you orientation-wise, and then you're really only lifting it up as high as you can maintain stability in the pelvis. So the second your pelvis starts to rock back, it's too far. Yeah? Exhale, lift, and inhale down. And you can flex your foot or point your foot. I tend to like the flex because you get a little bit deeper of a stretch in the IT band and hamstring. Good. One more here. Pause with that foot lifted. Bring it back down. Now we're going to externally rotate both legs. So instead of having the feet parallel, we'll point the toes and turn them out. So heels together, toes apart. We're going to kick your leg up to the sky and then lower it back down with control. Exhale, lift it up. And inhale, lower it down. And as you kick your leg up, do your best not to just completely relax in the waist. The more you can stay lifted in the obliques, the more you're going to feel that top glute working. Try and really hang on to that external rotation as you kick the leg up towards the sky. So I'm engaging the hip external rotators on the back of the hip. Nice job, ladies. One more time here. And lower that leg down. Now we'll get a little bit for internal rotation. So lift the foot back up, and this time I want you to internally rotate your leg so your toes are down and your heel is up. We're gonna tap your big toe to the floor and then lift with your heel to lift the leg back up. Tap it down and exhale, lift. Tap it down and lift. Good. Think about leading with that heel so you start to feel the burn just on the back of the hip here. You can use your top arm for balance and support. Think of sending your energy out through the heel still, so we're lengthening out of the hip socket. Good, one more time here. And we'll go ahead and relax the leg down. And I want you to just roll over onto your belly from here. And we're gonna go for a little swim. So reach your arms and legs out in a big X shape. And then I want you to think about posteriorly tilting your pelvis. So tuck your tail under, feel your glute muscles squeeze. You're gonna look straight down at the mat in front of you. Slide your shoulders away from your ears, float your arms and legs up off the floor here. Now from here, we're gonna lift opposite arm as leg and go nice and slow. So one arm and leg lift and lower, and lift and lower. And as you alternate body parts, I want you to focus in on your torso, yeah? And I want you to keep your torso as stable as possible as you lift opposite arm and leg so that the work is coming from your glutes and your legs and your mid-trapezius and your upper back, right between your shoulder blades, opposed to just feeling it in your upper traps. Now see if you can keep the muscle focus and go a little bit faster. So we'll kick and kick and kick and kick and a little bit faster and a little bit faster. And it might have to get a little bit smaller and a little bit tighter and a little bit faster and fast as yet. Hang in there for 10, 9, a little bit faster. I'm not a good counter. 3 and 2, a little bit faster, and 1, and relax down. Oh, feel the warmth in your back, feels so good. Okay, let's go ahead and press back into a child's pose stretch. So reach your butt back behind you, set those arms forward, try and sit your bottom back to your heels. Walk your hands forward away from you in opposition. For a deeper stretch in your lats under the armpits, if you flip your palms to the sky and really sink your chest down, that can feel really good there too. Good. Okay, so we're gonna come back into now I guess onto 4-point kneeling. Grab a weight. Okay, so we're on your hands and knees. We're gonna hold the weight. It's my left hand, but whatever arm you were just using, that's the same arm you wanna use, yeah? So make sure your hands are into your shoulders and your knees are into your hips. Weight's gonna go in your hand. We're gonna row the elbow up by your side and then kick the arm back from there. And then bend and tap it down. Row it up, kick it back, bend it in, tap it down. So once you have the movement, now we can start to focus on the muscles. So as you row your elbow into your side, pause. Feel your lat underneath your armpit, actively squish your elbow into your side, and then keep your shoulder there as you kick your arm back, bend it in, and lower it down. Once you feel like you have a handle on the muscles, we're gonna extend the opposite leg out. So now reach your right leg back behind you, opposite arm is leg, row it up, kick it out, bend it in, lower down. If this is plenty challenging, stick with this. For a little bit more excitement, try and float your right leg up off the floor and keep it there. Think of reaching your head and your toes away from each other in opposition. Feel the length in the torso and spine. Now, if you're like me and your elbows hyperextend, try and soften that right elbow just a little bit. Now pause with your arm extended and lifted. Rotate your palm to face the floor. Tap your hand to the ground and lift it back up. So it's a straight arm extension from your shoulder. Palm is face down. Fingernails are pointed up to the sky here. Think of leading with the back of the hand as you lift your arm up. So you're gonna feel this one in your tricep on the back of that arm, as well as in your rotator cuff and scapula. Good. One more time, pause with your arm lifted. Keep the arm externally rotated, bend at the elbow, and then extend the arm back out. Palms facing forward, bend it in, and extend it out. So pinky is turned in towards the hip, thumb is reaching away from the torso. Should be feeling the burn on the back of that arm for sure. Good, one more here. And go ahead and relax the arm and leg out. Whew. All right, we're almost done with this side. So we're gonna stay with the same side. Hang on to the weight with your left arm. This time, arm's gonna reach forward on the diagonal in front of you and reach that right leg back out behind you. We're gonna lift the arm and leg up off the floor together and then tap the arm and leg back down. So arm and leg lift, and arm and leg lower. And I only want you to lift your arm and leg up as high as you can keep your torso stable, especially your low back. Yeah, now as the weighted hand lifts up, focus on feeling your lower and middle trapezius muscle between your shoulder blades, opposed to feeling this in your upper back, or rather your upper neck. Good. One more time here. And then go ahead and relax everything down. And we'll do the whole dance on the other side. Yeah, you guys can stay where you are. I'm just gonna sit around so you can see the right leg here. So we're gonna do right side first, and then we'll go to our sideline work. So weight's gonna be in the opposite hand. Get yourself organized in 4-point kneeling. So knees are under hips, hands are under shoulders. We're gonna start with just the row first. So row the elbow up, kick the arm back, bend it in, tap it down. Row it up, kick it back, bend it in, tap it down. Once you have the movement, start focusing in on the muscles. So as the arm rows up, feel the lat underneath the armpit, elbows tight by your side. As you kick your arm back, keep your shoulder where it is, really feel that tricep. Maybe you can add that left leg extension in. Challenge your balance a little bit. If you're feeling ready, try and float that foot up off the floor. So as you row your arm up, feel the lat under the armpit. Now focus on keeping the shoulder away from the ear as you extend the arm back, so that while we strengthen your triceps, which are important postural stabilizing muscles, you practice good posture. Nice job. Hang in there. Try and soften that left elbow just a little bit. You're a hyperextender like myself. Good. Pause with your leg and your arm lifted and extended. Rotate your palm to face the floor. Try and tap your hand to the floor. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, tap it down. Exhale, lift it up. Now, as you tap your hand to the floor, focus on reaching your fingers just a little bit further away from your shoulder socket. Find the length. Now, keep the length as you go to lift your hand back up. So we want to feel this one in the tricep on the back of the arm, as well as the rotator cuff and scapular stabilizing muscles. Now pause with your arm lifted, bend at the elbow, and extend for triceps with external rotation. Do your best to, as you curl your arm in towards you, to keep your shoulder rotated back. Good, hang in there. I know it's starting to burn. One more time here. And then go ahead and relax everything down for just a second. We'll get a good group sigh in, and we'll keep going. So grab your can or your weight, reach your arm on the diagonal, extend your leg out. We're gonna float arm and leg up off the floor together, and then lower arm and leg down. Exhale, lift, and inhale, lower. Now, just like we did on the other side, I only want you to lift your leg up as high as you can keep your torso and your pelvis stable. So if you're increasing the arch at your low back as you lift your leg, it's a little bit too high. Good, there you go. So you really focus on the core stability here. Feel that can or weight work in the middle of the scapula between the shoulder blades. One more. And then go ahead, set your weight down. We're gonna lay down on your side again. Alrighty, so getting yourself organized for the other side. We're gonna start with the glute work, and then we'll circle back to the arms, give your arm a little bit of a break here. So extend your legs, and then kick your feet forward just a few inches so you have a little bit more stability. Shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked. You're reaching that top hip down to create the little mouth hole at the waist. Float your foot up so it's just slightly higher than your hip socket. Dorsiflex your foot, toes to shins. Kick your legs forward, point your foot, and kick it back. Flex and kick forward, point and pull back. So this exercise is really meant to be more about stability than anything else, right? Because you're probably not feeling like a really intense muscular burn with this one, and that's okay. It's about creating stability in that glute med muscle on the outside of the hip, as well as creating the stability in the pelvis while you move your leg. In Pilates land, we call that hip disassociation. Really think about leading with your heel as you kick your leg forward to feel that nice stretch on the hamstring. And then really point the toes and reach the kneecap long as you kick the leg back to feel the stretch in the hip flexor. Now pause next time your leg is forward. Hold it there, really flex that foot, try and tap your foot to the floor, feel the stretch in the IT band, and then lift your foot back to the sky. Lower your leg down and lift it back up with control. Lower it down and lift it up. And just like we did on the other side, you're only gonna lift that leg up as high as you can keep your pelvis stable. So what that means is as you lift your heel towards the ceiling, try not to let your pelvis rock back, or you'll end up just on your back, and that's no fun. Think about driving through the heel. As you bring your foot to the floor, feel that stretch in the IT band and glute. Last one. Posit that leg up to the sky. Bring your leg down. We're gonna externally rotate your legs. So think about wrapping from the back to the hips, heels together, toes apart. Lift that leg up to the sky and lower it back down. Exhale, lift with those toes and back down. Now, I want you to try and stay lifted in your rib cage and the waist as you kick your leg to the side, opposed to letting yourself laterally shift into the mat. Exhale, kick up, and inhale, lower down. Try and maintain that external rotation from the back of the hip, your hip lateral rotators or hip external rotators. Good. One more time here. Kick that leg up. Bring it back down. This time, we're gonna internally rotate your top leg. So toe down, heel up, tap your big toe to the floor, and lift your heel to the sky. Tap it down and lift it up. Now, with this one, I want, again, just like we did with external rotation, think about wrapping from the back of the thigh. I almost like to think about wrapping my hamstrings forward towards the front of my body. And what you'll feel is one spot on the back of your hip lighten up like Christmas. Feel that little burn back there. Hang in there. Don't give up now. Try and relax the shoulders, relax your neck. Unclench your forehead. Last one here. And relax the leg down. Go ahead and bend both legs in. Grab your weight. We'll go straight into your shoulder external rotation exercise. So holding your hand weight up towards the sky first. Sink your shoulders down. Try and stay lifted at the waist. Find that 90-degree bend. Lower your weight towards the floor and lead with the back of the wrist and hand as you come up. Inhale, lower, and exhale, lift. Be mindful that as you lift your hand up towards the sky, that you're avoiding the weight coming closer to your shoulder like this. Then it's going to be more about your bicep and less about your rotator cuff. Focus on squeezing that shoulder blade back and together the whole time. You're going to practice good posture while you strengthen your postural muscles. Good. Maybe notice right away if one side is weaker than the other. If you've ever had any kind of shoulder injury, chances are you have some asymmetries. Good. Last one. Toss with your hand up to the sky. Extend your arm all the way. Reach the fingers as far up to the sky as you can here as you sink your shoulders down. Lower your weight towards the floor. Lead with the back of the shoulder as you lift your arm up for that rear delt fly. Inhale, lower your arm down. Exhale, lift it up. Pausing right in line with your shoulder. Inhale down and exhale, lift. Remember, we're thinking about that time under tension concept. So we're moving slowly on the eccentric or the down movement and slowly on the concentric or the up movement. Whoop, starting to feel a little bit of a burn on the back of the shoulder. It's a good sign. Now, last one, we're going to pause with your hand reaching up to the sky. Really reach those fingers long, sink the shoulders from your ear, bend at the elbow for triceps, and extend the arm to come back up. Bend it down and extend to press back up. Now, every 3 or 4 repetitions, I want you to check in with your own body, specifically with your shoulder. Notice that as you get tired, your shoulder is going to start to creep up into your ear. So sink that shoulder as far away from your ear as possible with your lats underneath your armpit, so that you can really isolate this movement to the back of the arm and the tricep. Good, 2 more here. And last one, pausing with that arm straight, and we'll go ahead and set your weight down. And then just use your arms to sit yourselves up here. We're just gonna take a little bit of a side bendy stretch. So find yourself in crisscross applesauce or really however it's comfortable to sit. And I want you to hold your hands together. You're gonna clasp them together, stretch your arms to the sky, try and sink your shoulders away from your ears, and we're gonna laterally flex up and over to the side. So while it looks like a stretch, it's gonna feel like work on the obliques here. And then for a deeper stretch, you can unclasp your hands, hold onto your wrists, and give yourself a little bit of a pull to get a better stretch, but it's also gonna feel like a lot more work in your obliques. And then set your bottom hand on the floor, and we'll take a passive stretch so you can lean into it a little bit more deeply here. Try and sink that top shoulder away from your ear. Pull your head back in line with your spine, bring your shoulder with you, and sit yourself up for the other side. So we'll take both arms back up, give yourself a gentle pull up and over to the other side. Feel the obliques on the bottom side working here, that active stretch on the top side. And then find your passive stretch. So set your hand on the floor and you can lean into it a little bit more deeply. Maybe your elbow touches the floor, maybe it doesn't, right? And then stack yourself back up through center. Let's go ahead and clasp your hands behind your back. Yeah, interlace your fingers. Pull down, reach the hands back, try and lift your heart and chest up to the sky here. Nice big breath in. On your next inhale, let go of your hands, reach your hands up to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands down right in front of you. And give yourselves a round of applause. Nice job.